Here for round 2, currently 1-0 on the draw, and my hand's a little slow. Got some 3s, a 5, kind of a slow removal spell here, so I think I have to mulligan despite it being lands and spells. And here we go. We got some 1-drops, so we're in there. Do we want the 3rd Crypt Breaker? I kind of think we do. Like, either we get to draw a card on turn 2, or they kill our stuff and our Colossus is big. So yeah, I think I'll just top this. Lumbering Falls is likely Marvel. I would imagine that they want to Harness Lightning this, but... Alright, Channeler Initiate's a little bit weird, but Teamer stuff. I could see a world in which we push the Channeler Initiate, but I think it's so much more efficient to just do it this way. Like, actually get our engine online, start drawing cards. And hopefully our opponent doesn't do anything too backbreaking this turn. And we can get a pretty nice next turn. Ooh, no land drop. Alright. Okay, more 3s. Not great, not great. Ooh, Dark Salvation's nice. We can clear our opponent's board. Try and hit our land drop still. Alright. Well, I think we're supposed to Salvation and push. Kind of stinks that we're going to have a mana floating. But I think that just is what it is, you know? If our opponent didn't have a good 3-drop to play... then they're probably not going to have a good 3-drop to play next turn, even if they hit a land. Magma Spray doesn't do a whole lot here. Well, the second one's pretty good. Especially since it makes it so our Colossus isn't bigger. Very unfortunate stuff. We could have gone Relentless Dead, make a zombie, but I think I'd rather get the Colossus out there, and then if they don't kill it, then it's just a nightmare for them. And if we draw a land, we go Colossus, Relentless Dead, so... Oh yeah. We are really doing it. We are really doing it. Keeping that 3rd Crypt Breaker on top was A++. Playset of Crypt Breakers. Well, our opponent has a 2/3. So I don't think we're going to attack with our Colossuses. I could see a world in which we attack with our zombies. But I think we draw first. I would imagine this is the world. Well, maybe that attack was bad because we get to draw one less card this way, but I think it's good to soften our opponent up. Yeah, so that we can actually swarm them around Ulamog if they marvel into Ulamog next turn. Channeler's Initiate is interesting in that it kind of leads me to believe that they're going to have like 4 mana Chandra. I don't mind cutting a Mastery. It is good against them when they're trying to grind, but it's a little on the slow end. It's possible that I just want to cut them all, actually. Never Return is good against the Planeswalkers. Transgress is just good in general to disrupt them a little bit. I'm not sure if I want all 4 Grasps. It just kind of depends. I assume that they're going to have like trackers and stuff, but now I have Never Return also to kind of handle that stuff, so it's possible I just sideboard like this. If they do have a lot of Planeswalkers, Sky Sovereign's another option. Could also have more Masteries. But I basically do like all this stuff. I think the Lords and the Colossuses are definitely very good. Mimic is maybe a little bit weak, depending on how much removal they have and if they have sweepers. But since they have Channeler's Initiate, I don't know if that's more or less likely that they're going to have sweepers, because obviously, like, Mana Dork into Sweltering Suns is not the biggest combo, but Channeler Initiate, given enough time, can live through a sweeper, so it's kind of tough. Kind of tough to discern exactly what's in their deck. Also did not see a Marvel for sure. They could just be like Bristling Hydra, Glory Breaker type stuff. Glory Bringer. Not sure what a Glory Breaker is, but... So... Either way, I think Never Return is going to be good. Transgress is going to be pretty bad if they're just like the energy Planeswalker version. I'd rather have like more Masteries and Grasps if that's the case, and Sky Sovereign. So, yeah, maybe sideboarding like this is a little too aggressive because I am sideboarding like they're just Marvel, whereas maybe I want to hedge a little bit because... like Spray main deck and Channeler Initiate. Like Lumbering Falls is not that out of the ordinary, but it's definitely, it makes a lot more sense if you're playing like Glory Bringer, Elder Deep Fiend, and like Planeswalkers and stuff. So, I don't know. Transgress is typically not as good against those sorts of decks. It's just like building board position. So, yeah, it is possible that I want to switch this up a little bit, but... It's all right. It's all right. We'll do with what we have now, and we'll figure it out. Dread Wanderer Lord, not great. If we had another spell, I'd be more about this, but 5 lands is a lot. It's also possible that, like, with me cutting all my 5 mana cards, maybe I'm supposed to shave a land on the draw. And, you know, if this hand had another spell, then we'd probably keep it, so. This hand is slow, but it's lands and spells, so we're in there. This hand is better than going to 5 for sure. Crypt Breaker, please. They lead on Mountain, which leads me to believe they have a Magma Spray. Mimic's nice. Would expect this to die. Lord is a little bit more high value, but I feel like I'd rather just play it since it's 3 mana. Like, obviously, if their card is exactly Harness Lightning, maybe playing Relentless Dead first is a little bit better, but I have a glut of 3s. And it's possible that they've shown me a bunch of Magma Sprays and stuff, so it's possible the dead would just die, you know. So they have Hydra with 4 energy. It is possible to maybe catch that thing with like 2 removal spells, but I'm not going to try and do that. Rather just develop my board a little bit. Although this game is not looking good. If I were them, I would mostly just want to play a Protect the Hydra game. Like, they definitely want to save 3 energy, so I don't see the point of just making 1 Thopter here. Next turn, I'll probably attack with both creatures, play Relentless Dead, and have a thing to just block the Hydra, so that could end up going well for me. Certainly not going to block here, though. Kind of surprised that they're not using an energy to cut my clock a little bit. I guess here I could play Mimic first, make a 4/4 Relentless Dead, which bricks the Refiner, and Hydra's not lethal, so I think that's probably better. Instead of just like chumping and paying B. Okay. Suppose I should have expected that. Now we're in a little more precarious position. Chandra, yeah, okay. It's all going downhill. They got a little tempo advantage, kept my board clear. This is only 9. We're going to attack Chandra. Never their 3/2. And if they can remove my Relentless Dead, then I'm dead. This seems like Glorybringer, yeah. Alright, so slight misread. I don't think it would have really mattered with the cards that I drew, but we definitely did sideboarding correctly, even though like I kind of knew towards the end of sideboarding that may have been the case. So do we actually want these nevers? I think I'll just focus on building a big board and see how that goes. Some removal to interact, but nothing too fancy. Yeah, this looks okay. 2/3, couple 5s. This is kind of what I'm worried about with Mastery, where it just kind of rots in your hand for a bit. But in the face of a bunch of 1-for-1 removal, I do think that you need some effect like this. So these are definitely good to have. It's just a matter of whether or not we actually make it to 5 mana. Tune with Ether, so good. So good. Getting Force is kind of a tell. Is that Game Trail? Is that what that means? Because it's tough for this deck to actually get red-red. So they could just have a bunch of different lands and like this is their second green source. Like maybe they have Spire Bluff and Mountain. Or something similar, but... when you have Glorybringer in your deck and you lead with blue-green land and you get a forest, it definitely means something. So, they tanked over whether or not to play this, so they probably have some other stuff going on. I could see a world in which I just play Colossus hoping to play Lord, but I don't think that that's great. I think Colossus is like the better follow-up. Like if I play Colossus, it'll just die. And right now I don't have like any sprayable targets, so... they need Harness Lightning or Chandra. We need a land. I will also accept Dark Salvation and then land. Maybe even Crypt Breaker. Interesting that they lightning this instead of the Lord. Relentless Dead doesn't really do too much against this deck, just in general. Yeah, if they have another lightning, then that kind of makes sense. But then we get to make a 4/4. Boom. Granted, that's perfect size for Glorybringer, and hopefully it doesn't come to that, but... oh dear. Yeah, okay, the boat, that's fine. Alright, Colossuses. Opponent needs to play a thing to be able to crew the boat, and if they can crew the boat, all they can kill is a zombie, and then we can play Mastery or Lord, depending on if we draw land, so... kind of curious as to whether or not the Harness Lightning on the Lord was correct because of Colossus. And they could also just, like, boat down the Lord, so, I don't know. Could have been a little mistake there. I feel with my opponent taking a bunch, they're probably in a really bad spot, so it's good for us. And we're in the spot where if we draw a land or a spell, it's generally pretty good. Obviously, if we draw like another 2 or a 3, it's not great, but a lot of 1s, a lot of lands, that could be good. So we're drawing pretty live. But you kind of see where, like, Transgress would not really line up here with all my 3-drops. Like, I just would not have had time to actually cast one profitably. Would have had to skip my turn to do so, probably. And while it would have, like, sniped the Sky Sovereign or whatever, like, their deck is just full of a bunch of, like, 4 and 5 mana powerful cards. So it's not like you're really doing much. It's effectively just casting Raven's Crime on them, which is not all that great. All their cards kind of do the same thing. It's not like you're trying to pick them apart with, you know, like stop them from resolving like one specific card. Like take out their one Sweeper or their one Aetherworks Marvel or whatever. Just like all their cards are kind of similar. Just focus on doing what your deck does. Alright, 2 servants can crew the boat. If I draw 1 mana zombie, I would just go off. It'd be great. Whirler's pretty good. Ugh. Ugh. I don't think they have great attacks. Their blocks are a little bit better because 6/5 blocks well, but not once I play Lord. Alright, so they are going for the crew, and they didn't make a Thopter. Mimic is one of the worst draws, for sure, for sure. Doesn't allow me to double spell, doesn't allow me to play Mastery. Do I need to keep a thing back here? I think I do. Yeah, they can they can take the 10, make 2 Thopters, crew this, have 5, 6, 7, 8, 14 after they kill this. So yeah, I actually have to keep this back. Which is really unfortunate. This might mean that like Whirler is going to help them win the race. Yeah, if they make a token, that's good for me. I'm no longer Dobbs, but this might mean that I'm like playing it a little too slow, and that allows them to actually turn the corner here. Glorybringer. Yep, now I am dead. Now they can Thopter crew, kill Lord, kill a Colossus, and I'm just like super far behind. Oh, I'm actually just dead on board, too. If they made a Thopter and crewed with these two, they could just go kill, kill, and 14 me. Yeah, they're not playing great. They're playing good enough though. Yeah, a little too late. We're 2 points short. I don't think there's a way that we could have made up those 2 points. I mean, also they get to make a Thopter and just block if they want, so. That's it for me. Flyer's too good.